does not have integrity deficit. The man is incorruptible. And I think all of us, all stakeholders, have implicit confidence in his administration and the way he has carried out. And you can see that since he became the Chief Justice of the Federation, he has rolled out a number of policies and pronouncements to show his unwavered commitment to the anti-corruption war.
But as counsel to the EFCC, are you privy to the plans of the AGF? Has the AGF shared with the EFCC what it plans to do next with this list? As
counsel to EFCC, external counsel to EFCC, there's a limit to the kind of information that I can be privy to. Except as if I'm trying to over-dramatize the kind of importance that I enjoy within the system, which is highly privileged. But what I want to say categorically is that if the Attorney General of the Federation demands for a list of politically exposed persons under investigation, it is right to do so as the Chief Law Officer of the Federation. Because whatever happens in the final analysis in terms of whether positive or negative will rub off on the administration. And then he will be called upon to answer questions as the Chief Law Officer of the Federation. So making such a requisition from his office is normal. And EFCC statutorily also or constitutionally is under obligation to defer or obey such instructions. And really, both of them should be on the same page. They are working for the same, to arrive at the same destination, to ensure that corruption is reduced to the barest minimum. So when issues bordering on lack of proper or effective communications are raised, it will affect the image of the Attorney General and the Minister of Justice. But that's the symbol of the justice delivery system as far as the compliance with our laws and all other incidentals are concerned. So I think it's a legitimate, and I think the leadership of EFCC, led by Ibrahim Magbo, they are quite aware of this. And so right now, it is not only with regards to EFCC, AGF that you see this kind of misunderstanding, steaming misunderstanding. It permeates some other areas. And I think the administration is fully conscious of this and is trying to bridge this gap to ensure that all institutions, operate on the same page and there's effective communication and collaboration between the agencies of government. When people are working even to arrive at the same destination, there could be difference in style or in approach. But that does not mean that all of them do not subscribe to the need to combat corruption, which is the scourge ravaging our developmental process in our country.
A former president of the NBA, Olisa Agbakoba, SAN, once said that the EFCC does not pay well enough to attract the best lawyers. And this perhaps may be one of the reasons why it loses high-profile corruption cases. Do you agree?
Mr. Olisa Agbakoba, SAN, is very eminent, and his pronouncement should be taken very, very seriously. He's easily one of our very best in terms of knowledge, in terms of experience, exposure, and integrity. And so when a personage of such a caliber makes any pronouncement, I think we should take it very, very seriously. I think it bears no emphasis, the fact that the anti-graft agencies generally are poorly funded. So the question people should be asking is, why are our anti-graft agencies poorly funded? Because they need funds to be able to prosecute the anti-corruption war, not only to pay lawyers. They need funds to be able to service training, to be able to service logistics, to be able to provide for infrastructure, to be able to provide for capacity building, to be able to sustain institutional strengthening, and to be able to engage in meaningful international cooperation, which are the elements, fundamental indicators of fighting against corruption. So if these anti-graft agencies are denied of funding, it's a major disservice. Because in other civilized climes, where corruptions are fought, resources and funding, they are not the issues. Because in developed economies, they are prepared to spend trillions or billions of dollars, to chase just hundreds of naira, cases of corruption. So because what is critical to them is the final destination, the deterrence factor. And I think that should be replicated in our environment here. So the question we should be asking is that who are the agencies responsible for appropriating funds to the anti-graft agencies? The answer is that it's the National Assembly. So the National Assembly ought to be sensitized to appropriate more funds, subject to, close monitoring mechanisms to ensure that these funds are effectively utilized. So as it is now, the funds available to EFCC are severely limited. And a responsible and decent, headship of EFCC or any of the anti-graft agencies must work within the scope of available resources. And that perhaps may have been responsible for the reason why EFCC is unable to pay the kind of comparative fees that defense lawyers, enjoy when defending those who are accused of corrupt practices. You cannot compare the kind of funds being paid to prosecution lawyers with the ones available to defense counsel, partly because of some other reason which I don't want to speculate here. But what is important is that funding is very critical to the effective prosecution of the anti-corruption work. But it will be a disservice to say, it is because of lack of proper funding alone. Because Olisa Agbakoba also, as eminent as he is, I'm sure, realizes the fact that fighting corruption is not a matter of one's pocket alone. It's also about, it's a crusade. It's about salvaging the country from this. So one will be happy if we see the likes of eminent Olisa Agbakoba come forward in the national interest to enlist their professional expertise in the fight against corruption. But apart from the issue of funding, also important is the need to ensure effective and efficient investigation before cases are rushed to court, effective and efficient prosecution, and again, effective and efficient adjudication. Because the reality is that any of these processes, investigation, prosecution, adjudication, may be compromised, depending on the characters involved. But I think it would be wrong to place the loss of cases, the blame for loss of cases at the doorstep of any of these processes alone. It's a stakeholders' problem. We need to, bring forward our best materials to prosecute this war. If it means spending more money to attract these best materials, so be it. But again, those who also have these skills should also recognize the fact that they owe greater loyalty to the country, to the survival of the society, and then downplay, where necessary, the issue of fees in favor of service to country, service to society.